Hey there, viewers, and welcome back to the Self-Made Auto Channel. So we're getting back on this 2005 Chrysler 300C Touring with the big 3.5 in it. Last video we looked at the rear wheel speed sensor to see what was going on in that. We determined that it has a broken or missing tone ring there, the magnet strip on the wheel bearing. If you haven't seen that video, look down in the description box or up here on the screen where it pops up, so you can go check that out. It also had an engine light on with this code stored in it, this 2173, high airflow vacuum leak detected, slow accumulation. We're going to check out the code setting criteria on that. If it does have a vacuum leak, we're going to see if we can't find it with our Ready Smoke machine. So I looked up code setting criteria. The long and short of it, what the ECM does is it compares the TPS voltage, I think there's a couple of them, to map sensor voltage to what calculated airflow should be. And if the parameters are outside their value, then it's going to set this code on the assumption that there's a vacuum leak. So that's going to be the first thing we start with. Engine's cold, it's been sitting over the weekend. Going to use our easy intake, plug off the intake, put some smoke on it, see if there is a vacuum leak. If there's not, then we're going to take it from there. Like I mentioned, we're going to be using our Ready Smoke. Now you guys seen me use this in another video, and at that point it was the very first time I'd ever used this little guy, and we noticed, or I made the observation, that it didn't put out a whole lot of smoke. And after that video came out, I was promptly contacted by Ready Smoke, and they offered a suggestion of adding the other 2 ounces of smoke fluid that it comes with, because they said that sometimes apparently they're not filled all the way, or something along those lines. So I did as they suggested, and it has made a world of difference, I think, as you will see. And a lot of guys were commenting on that, and like I said, I also made that observation. But if you end up buying one of these and you run into the same problem I did, where you're just not getting that much smoke, add the other 2 ounces that it comes with. So I'll show you here. Before we hook it up, we'll take and fire this little guy up. We get it warmed up here. But yeah, the amount of smoke that it was putting out after that, night and day difference. Now we're talking. So you guys can see the big difference there. And it's just starting to warm up now. The longer you leave it running, the thicker it gets. As I mentioned, we are going to use our easy intake. Showed this on the last video. Of course, now we get to put it into practice. I'll show you the advantages of it. So we're just going to unhook the intake tube here, stick the easy intake in the hole, pump it up. Now it should seal off this intake, regardless of its shape. So that should be sealed now. We'll take our smoke machine, we'll fire it back up here. Let her start billowing out some smoke. We grab us a flashlight here. It does take about maybe a minute to get warmed up, but as soon as it does, she starts puffing pretty good. So we're going to take and stick that on here. And then let it fill the intake system, and hopefully we'll see a leak. If not, we're going to have to chase down this code another way, see what's going on. Oh, I'm starting to see some smoke. You see it light, starting to get some smoke in the back already. Oh boy.
Billowing out.
Now, I think somebody's been back here. There's definitely no doubt that this thing has a vacuum leak. However, look at that EGR tube back here. I guess visual inspection might have been able to nail this one. I think somebody has already tried to fix it. I see big gobs of silicone on the EGR tube. But you guys can see, I guess, a good demonstration how much smoke this thing does put out. Is, look at that compared to our last video. So if we can learn anything, let me get a mirror and just shine back there. It looks like the EGR tube. Oh man, I'm not sure it's just... Oh, what a freaking mess, really? If you guys can see it back there in the mirror, probably not. The smoke's a little excessive right now. Oh yeah. So she is puking right out of the back of that EGR tube, like big time. Wow, smoke's getting a little rampant here. I don't know if you guys can see that in the mirror, probably not. It's kind of difficult to back to the camera, but yeah, it's blasting out of that EGR tube. Probably just the O-ring on it is bad. All right, well, it is what it is. At least we know the code was correct. And you guys can also see, I guess we can observe that the easy intake is sealed beautifully. And then to get it out, just release it and away we go. But yeah, I think the smoke quantity has drastically changed. I guess that is it on this one. It's obvious to me that the Ready Smoke now smokes as it should. And it's also obvious to me that this vehicle clearly needs an EGR Tube O-ring, which somebody also obviously already knows about. Otherwise they wouldn't have gooped it up with silicone. But again, this car did come from the auction, so perhaps that was done, from the shop that sent it to the auction. Because when that code comes up, it also throws on the electronic throttle control light and derates the engine. So perhaps that's why they did it, just so it would, start and run. But remove the EGR tube or pull the intake, whichever style it is on this. I'm not sure. I mentioned in the first video with the wheel speed sensor, we're not getting this job. We were just paid to diagnose it for the used car lot, and they're going to take and fix it. So I'm going to tell them they need the O-ring, that rear wheel speed sensor tone ring from the first video, and then move on. And if you guys have the Ready Smoke and it's not smoking the way you think it should, or the way it was in this video, add a little extra fluid to it. It is kind of hard to see the fluid on the dipstick, to tell if it was full or not. But like I say, Redline did get a hold of me and told me just to dump the extra 2 ounces in and give it a shot. And they say that happens on occasion. Just needs a little extra juice. So that fixed it. In the meantime, go down there, click subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up, let us know what you think, what we can improve on, or what you don't like. We do appreciate that. Find us around socials, Patreon, all that business. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.